So, who are you? What is
I,
your name and where are you from?
I am Brenda Boss, and I am serving as the Bishop of the Southwest California Synod.
Right. So excited to be in conversation with you today.
Too.
Just asking you some questions about church and faith. And so the first one is what does it mean to you to reclaim the church?
You know what? Honestly, to reclaim the church to me is to go back to what we were originally. I mean, like Book of Acts, how we were originally, not 1988 ELCA. And I think I get excited about seeing people who want to strip down all the extra stuff and
Mm,
go back to following Jesus and teaching people to be disciples. And so to me, reclaiming the church is owning that piece and getting rid of all the human constructs that I think have hurt us.
getting rid of all the human constructs. So
Maybe
the
all of them.
the OG.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but so I have said this to anybody who'll listen. I think the Western church blew it about 70 years ago. Instead of saying, "Isn't God so great?" we started to say, "Isn't the church so great?"
Mm-hmm.
And so we lost that thread that we're all we have is to depend on is God. And so we built program, right? And we had this boom post World War II. And so we were like, all you had to do was open the door and people would come
Mm-hmm.
in. And so we thought it was us. And so I think the only way, and now we go, wow, it's not working anymore, is it? The institution is falling apart. How weird. And God was like, hello, I've always been here. And so that's what I think we need to do. And it's weird to be here at ELCA Churchwide Assembly where we're trying to like build the right church and starting to think, smaller is going to be, well, smaller is where we are, but I think it's actually the innovation is smaller.
So we're wondering also, what does it look like to lead with love for such a time as this?
I think the best way to lead with love in a time like this is to realize that it cannot be about a leader. It has to be about the spirit that is uniting all of us. And the hard part about leading with love right now is to be curious about what the other person is going through. And so the church should be this amazing place where we can disagree and be together, and we're not great at it. So, leading in love, I think, is trying to find a way to hold more people and their truths and their experience. And, only with God's help, lose our own defensiveness about trying to explain why we did it or, what we're trying to do, and instead hold much more uncomfortable, but hopefully more loving spaces.
Hmm. What is something we've centered in the church that no longer serves the people?
I would say we need to let go of our love of program
Mm-hmm.
because even though it seemed like a fruitful harvest for a long time, I think we are a little idolizing our work instead of wondering what the Spirit might be doing now. And it seems that God is asking the church to be less pastor led.
Mm.
We keep wringing our hands that we don't have enough rostered leaders. And I'm like, what if actually God is doing this? I mean, we're always going to have rostered leaders. Let's not panic. But I think we've just lost, we never tapped into the hundreds of people in a space and looked to the one or the two. And so I think that that's a shift that is no longer, I mean, the pastor centered ministry is no longer serving us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean we should not have rostered leaders anymore. Like, I'm going to always beg gifted people who are called to lead churches in an ordained way, but we're going to have to adore the person in the back pew who suddenly has this glorious idea and say, is God leading us through that idea now?
Mm-hmm. How has your faith been shaped by either resistance, resilience, or reclamation?
I've been spending a lot of time lately wondering how resistance has hurt my faith because I thought that I was supposed to be an outlier or an advocate or pushing from the margins. And I've been curious about, is God actually calling me just a little bit in from that? So I worry that resistance has hurt my faith in some ways, but in terms of resilience, anybody who's gone through anything, right, who still believes, we go, oh, God was there through it all. And so I think I've had enough personal tragedy that has shaped, like, oh, God is still here. And it kind of speaks to what I had said earlier about maybe the institution needs to be lessened. I wonder about my own personal self-worth needs to be lessened. I mean, the Bible mentions this more than twice, right? That like when I am weak, then I am strong. And so I wonder about resilience and how that shapes a dependence on God that unfortunately you have to learn the hard way.
Absolutely. And lastly, where do you hope to see new life breaking through or breaking into this church?
Honestly, the hope of the church goes back again to the church in the book of Acts, that the Holy Spirit is unleashed in a way that we don't try to tamp down. Like, ooh, this got a little messy, or that's uncomfortable. So I see hope in the persistence and the insistence of the Holy Spirit, and seeing the ways that that's coming out in all kinds of, like, right, small little places and things like that. That's where I see hope. Um, I am occasionally in a church that's got 12 people in it, and I find myself saying, Jesus changed the world with 12 people, right? So to sort of, remind folks that small is not necessarily diminished into an impossible way.
And as Adrienne Marie Brown says, small is good, small is all. The large is a reflection of the small.
Let's hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yay.